What's up, you guys? From Within Athletes, Cas Fernandez here, and this is one of my most important videos, I think, because we're going to talk today about how to not be a pussy. So a lot of my student athletes struggle with this, and I just like to keep it blunt, and I like to keep it a buck with everybody that I train, or keep it real. And you got to stop being a pussy. So I'm going to give you some steps on how to not be a pussy anymore, and what you can do to take control of your life as a student athlete and control your own destiny. Number one, no negative self-talk, okay? So, oh, I can't shoot. Oh, I can't throw the ball. Oh, I can't run that fast. That's what pussies do. You have to start to have the utmost self-confidence in your own abilities. And when you start to let your peers and other student athletes or teammates say negative things about you, or you start to yourself internalize those negative thoughts and feelings, that's what pussies do. So no more of that anymore. So for you to not be a pussy, there's no more you can't do something. Your brain is an internal computer. And when you tell yourself you can't do something, you're actually programming a paradigm. It's called a paradigm for you young athletes. You guys can Google this. You're programming the computer, which is your brain. It's an ongoing computer. You're having your brain tell yourself that you can't do something. And that's what pussies do. So you're having a negative mindset for the get-go. And these aren't even things, you guys, that are like, it's not like anyone's asking you to climb Mount Everest. Usually I hear athletes say these things about, again, sprinting, jumping, running, dunking, playing a sport, making a tackle, completing an assignment. These are things that you can do, but your negative self-talk is keeping you from doing those things, and that's what pussies do. And fuck that, you're not a pussy. So you're not talking to yourself negatively anymore. None of that negative talk, none of that you can't do this, you can't do that. You only speak positively to yourself, because that's what grown-ups do. That's what leaders do. That's what bosses do, okay? Number two is you need to talk to yourself out loud about what's the consequence, okay? So this is what I mean, is that you're afraid to do something, you're being a pussy about something, and instead of just thinking about logically or talking yourself out loud of what the consequence of not doing something would be, you just don't do it at all. Oh, I'm too afraid to like Snapchat her. Okay, so think about it out loud. Okay, you Snapchat her, she doesn't snap you back, she leaves you on read, like who cares? On to the next girl. I don't know if I could, post that on my Instagram, because I don't know if that'll be lame. Okay, so you don't get the amount of comments or feedback or likes, like who cares? The stuff that you guys are fearing in your head, you have to talk out loud about what the consequences are. Don't take this overboard. Obviously there's consequences to bad decisions you make, but the things that you guys get afraid to do, the consequences, when you actually talk about them out loud, you're being a pussy. They're not that big of a deal. Another good example that I hear a lot of, oh no, I can't do that because that'll look lame, or okay, you went and did that activity. Okay, so it looked lame. Okay, so you get over it in about 2 to 3 days. Like these are inconsequential decisions that you guys aren't taking. And if you just think about it out loud and not be a pussy, if you think about it out loud and you talk about what the consequence is, okay, so, I don't ask this girl to the prom or to the dance, or I don't Snapchat her X, Y, or Z. Again, what's gonna actually happen when you don't do that? Think about it out loud. And when you think about it out loud, or you talk to yourself out loud, or you could even do something even better where you write it down in a journal and you think about it, it's really not that big of a deal. So you need to write these things down, you need to talk about them out loud, and you need to not be a pussy. And then once you do those things, you'll realize that what you're freaking out about isn't a big deal, okay? What else you have to do to not be a pussy? Set some fucking goals. Set some goals as a student athlete, okay? So write down what your GPA is going to do. Your GPA is going to be, my GPA will be a 3.5. Write down the letter grade you're going to get for all your classes. You're not even visualizing it. So, for example, how the fuck are you supposed to have a 3.5, or you're just hoping for good grades? Like, no, you need to write a goal down. Okay, my goal is to make varsity. My goal is to average X amount of rebounds. my goal as a receiver is to have X amount of catches. My goal is to trap bar deadlift 350 pounds. See, when you write these things down or you identify what your goals are, you're going somewhere with a plan. So, not gonna lie to you guys as student athletes, pussies do things without a plan. If we got on a ship together and we got on a boat and we didn't know what island we were going to, how long it was gonna take, how long we were gonna be there for, that's not smart. You're not executing anything. So to execute a plan, you have to go through with it. To go through with it, you have to identify what you're doing as a student athlete. So once you identify what your goals are, then you can accomplish them, okay? That's called putting first things first and doing what it takes to get done to reach and achieve what you want to do as a student athlete, okay? Another thing how you're not going to be a pussy. This is the best one how to not be a pussy, student athletes. It's called the 3-2-1 rule. So you're afraid to talk to a girl. You're afraid to ask your coach something. You're afraid to start this assignment. You're having anxiety about something, right? Something's making you nervous, okay? So you give yourself a timer. 3, 2, 1, you go do it. You send that text. You send that DM. You post that footage. You start doing that assignment, okay? You go up and talk to the teacher. You give yourself a timer in your head of 3, 2, 1, and then you go do the thing that you were being a pussy about doing. That's how you actually accomplish. That's how you actually get something done, okay? The last thing and the key to not being a pussy is stop depending on your mom and dad. Stop depending on your family. Now, don't take this out of proportion, guys. I'm not saying don't listen to your mom and dad. I'm not saying don't listen to your family. I'm not saying don't listen to your teachers, your coaches. What I'm saying is, why do you need your coach's approval to get extra shots up or get extra pucks in? Or why do you need your coach's approval to hit extra ground balls? Why do you need your mom and dad's approval on what you want to do? If you want to get a scholarship to the University of North Carolina, write the goal down and do it yourself. If you want to wear Crocs with Nike short shorts and a tie-dye t-shirt, then why do you need anybody else's approval? You don't need anyone else's approval to do anything that's legal and safe. Don't be a pussy. You don't need your friend's approval. You don't need your teammates' approval. You don't need a girl's approval. You only need your approval, and that comes from within. So when you do things from within, when you're your own decision maker and you're not being a pussy and you make your own decisions and live your life safely without harming anybody, that's how you fix those things. So I'll leave you guys with this. To stop being a pussy, the biggest thing I can say is you make a decision as long as it's not harming anybody, and that'll get you the conclusion of what you want to do. Okay, guys? This is Cass Fernandez from Within Athletes. This is how not to be a pussy. Guys, have a great day.